Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Today, we are staring straight into the future of the green and gold, and honestly, it's looking pretty blindingly bright, but it's also, well, it's a little bit ruthless.
Ruthless is exactly the right word. But in professional sport, ruthless is usually a synonym for successful, especially when we're talking about the Springboks.
That is the tension we're exploring today. We're digging into a massive topic, the dawn of a new era for South African rugby. We're working from a really sharp analysis from the South African. It's titled Springboks' New Era, Three Legends Nearing the End. And the mission for this deep dive is, well, it's simple but heavy. We're going to unpack how Rassie Erasmus is reshaping the squad. Right now, it's a huge transition. From legendary veterans, the guys who won us back-to-back titles, to these supernova young stars.
And it's not just about changing names on a team sheet. This is a fundamental shift in the team's DNA ahead of the 2027 World Cup in Australia. We are watching the engine being rebuilt while the car is still moving at 100 miles an hour.
Which is terrifying and exhilarating. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of who is out and who is in, and trust me, there are some big names on the chopping block, I have to remind you, if you want to stay ahead of the pack with every Bok update, hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession right now. You do not want to miss what we've got coming up.
So let's set the scene.
Yeah.
It is February 2026. The 2027 World Cup in Australia is just looming large on the horizon. The focus has shifted entirely.
Exactly. The confetti's long gone. It's strictly business time. And looking at our source material, the theme here is pretty clear, the strategy of succession. This isn't just about injuries or a random dip in form. This feels like a master plan.
It is the Rassie Erasmus master plan in full effect. The source highlights a very deliberate phasing out of players who have been the absolute backbone of this team for nearly a decade. And what stands out to me is that this isn't accidental. It's a calculated move to ensure the squad profile isn't too old when they land in Australia.
I think that's a crucial distinction. We often see teams hold on to legends a bit too long, but here, the wheels are still on, yet the driver is changing. And the names we're talking about, Willie le Roux, Makazole Mapimpi, Faf de Klerk. The weight of experience is staggering.
Just pause and let that sink in. If you combine those three players, you are looking at 208 test caps walking out the door. Willie with 101, Faf with 60, Mapimpi with 47. That's a massive amount of institutional memory.
It's huge, 208 caps. But here is the tell, right? The source points out something really interesting about the 2025 season. It wasn't that these guys were broken physically.
No, and that's the key indicator that this is strategic. The article notes that during 2025, these players were fit. They were available. They were ready to go. And yet for the key matches, the ones that really mattered, they were left out. That is the clearest sign you can get that the torch is being passed.
It feels like aggressive asset management. You reinvest in the new stock before the market crashes.
That's a cold way to put it, but it's accurate. Rassie is prioritizing the peak performance of 2027 over the sentimental loyalty of 2026.
Okay, let's unpack this position by position, because this is where the drama really is. We have to start with number 15, Fullback, Willie le Roux.
The conductor.
The man is a centurion, 101 caps. He's been the brain at the back for so long, but the source identifies a specific turning point in 2025 where things went south.
It did. It points directly to the 24-17 loss to the All Blacks at Eden Park. Now, playing the All Blacks at Eden Park is the toughest assignment in rugby, period. But the analysis suggests Willie's performance there was considered below par.
And below par in a test like that can be fatal for a career, can it? The consequences were immediate.
Brutal. Following that loss, le Roux was dropped for the home leg of the Rugby Championship, missed the Argentina test. He was left out of the squad that toured the UK. It was a complete freeze-out.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The source mentions that even when Afolaye Fassi, who's been in great form, was injured, they still didn't recall Willie.
That's the nail in the coffin, I think. When the backup is injured and you still don't get the call, that signals a permanent shift. They're looking forward, not backward.
A harsh reality for a legend. But, and this is a big but, it's not all doom and gloom, because we have to talk about supernova.
I love that description in the article. Perfectly captures the energy.
The source describes Damian Willemse's rise as a star becoming a supernova. And they point to that massive 45-10 victory over New Zealand in Wellington.
That game was a revelation. We need to talk about his tactical flexibility. The article points out that in that Wellington match, Willemse started at inside center, number 12, but he finished it at fullback, number 15.
That's the Rassie hybrid model right there. Why is that specific switch so valuable?
Think about the bomb squad. You need backs who can cover multiple positions. Willemse starting at 12 gives you a physical battering ram. Then shifting him to 15 later in the game gives you aerial skills against tired legs. Willie le Roux was a specialist. Willemse is a total rugby player. He unlocks that bench.
It's efficiency. You get 2 world-class players for the price of 1 jersey.
Exactly. And that performance seems to have cemented him as the first choice. When you can explode like that against the All Blacks in New Zealand, you aren't just a placeholder. You are the man.
Okay, let's slide over to the wings. This one hits me right in the feels because we're talking about Makazole Mapimpi.
A true fan favorite. The hero of Tokyo 2019.
I mean, the chants, the tries, the history. But 2025 was tough for him.
It was a very quiet year. The source details that Mapimpi played only 1 test match in the entire 2025 season.
1 match. That is wild for a guy who was scoring tries for fun not long ago.
Just the one. The 45-0 win against Italy. And he didn't play again for the rest of the season.
And there's a harsh reality attached to that, right? The source mentions the financial impact.
It does, and fans forget this. Because he wasn't playing, he was one of the lowest paid Springboks in 2025. Match fees are a huge part of their income. It's a job. If you aren't on the field, it affects your livelihood.
That is a stark reality check. And again, just like with Willie, it wasn't a lack of options that kept him out.
Precisely. Even when Kurt-Lee Arendse was injured, Mapimpi wasn't the go-to. Instead, Erasmus went for youth. He looked further down the depth chart.
It really shows no one's spot is safe. Hey, just a quick pause here. If you are loving this breakdown of the Box Squad, make sure you are subscribed to Rugby Obsession wherever you listen. We're doing this all the way to the World Cup final.
So, speaking of youth on the wing, we have to talk about the new blood. The source highlights a guy who I think surprised a lot of people. Ethan Hooker.
Yeah, talk about a rapid rise. Who is this guy?
He's a different physical specimen. The source calls his selection a surprise start against the All Blacks in Wellington. That's a heck of a place to make a statement. But Hooker brings size, a power game.
Thrown into the deep end.
And he swam. He had a massive debut. And look at the stats for 2025. 8 appearances, 6 starts. That's not a player they're just testing out. That is a player they are investing in.
He's part of the furniture now. But we can't talk wings without talking about the standard bearer, Kurt-Lee Arendse.
Sprinted, stepped, and scored his way to the front. That's the quote. And it's accurate. He is framed here as one of the best wings in world rugby.
It feels like Arendse has taken the baton from Mapimpi and just engaged the afterburners.
He has. Arendse is just sprinting ahead, literally and figuratively. In the modern game, you need a winger who can create something out of nothing. Arendse does that every time he touches the ball.
Okay, let's move to the spark plug of the team. The scrum half shakeup.
Faf de Klerk.
The icon.
Yeah.
The blonde hair. The attitude. A double World Cup winner.
He's been the face of Springbok aggression for a long time. But the decline in his game time during 2025 is stark, almost startling.
Lay the numbers on us. How much did we actually see of him?
In 2025, Faf played just 2 matches. And crucially, both were off the bench. One against Italy, one against Georgia.
So no starts.
Yeah.
Not even one.
No starts. And here is the key stat from the source. He played 0 minutes in the Rugby Championship. None. And he missed the end-of-year squad entirely.
Wow. 0 minutes in the championship? That is a loud statement from the coaching staff. That's a shout.
It is. The source says the selectors aren't faffing around. Pun intended, I'm sure.
I see what they did there.
Yeah.
But tactically, what does this mean?
I think it means they've moved on to a different style. They seem to be looking for more speed at the ruck, a faster clear-out.
So who has taken the reins?
Well, it's the era of Kobus Reinach and Grant Williams now. Reinach has been starting most of the tests. He brings that experience, but with electric pace.
Grant Williams.
Grant Williams is the primary substitute, and he is terrifying. He's essentially a winger playing scrum half.
Yeah.
He brings pure speed late in the game. It's a lethal 1-2 punch.
And they've got depth behind them too, right?
They do. The source mentions Morny Vandenberg as the backup. So the depth chart is full. It seems Faf's time in the green and gold, at least as a frontline option, is essentially up.
So let's pull this all together. Willie, Mapimpi, Faf 3 absolute legends being phased out. We've got Willemse, Arendse, Hooker, Reinach, Williams taking over. I have to ask you, is this sad or is this actually good news?
It's bittersweet, sure, because of what those guys achieved. But if you look at the evidence, you have to be optimistic. The source phrasing is key here. The future is now.
I like that. It's not the future is coming, it's here.
Exactly. These aren't just replacements. They are the next generation.
Hmm.
They are stepping into, as the article says, pretty big boots, and they are performing. Willemse is exploding. Arendse is world-class. Hooker had a massive debut. These guys are ready.
It's evolution, not just replacement.
Precisely. And that's why South African rugby is in such a strong position. The Books are pushing the next guys through while the legends are still there, forcing that transition. It's ruthless, yes, but it's how you stay on top.
It's definitely how you win World Cups. But hey, I want to throw this out to you listening right now. We've talked about 3 giants, le Roux, Mapimpi, Faf. Which of those 3 are you going to miss the most? The vision of Willie, the finishing of Mapimpi, the chaos of Faf. Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts.
It's a tough choice. Each of them brought something so unique.
Iconic, all of them. But as we wrap up, it feels like Rassie is cooking something special again.
He is. And leave yourself with this final thought. We are looking at a team that is cutting over 200 caps of experience and seemingly getting faster and more dangerous. If this transition is this ruthless and effective now, just imagine how dangerous the Springboks are going to be when they actually land in Australia in 2027. The ceiling for this team is terrifyingly high.
Terrifying for the opposition, beautiful for us. That is a great place to leave it. The books are evolving. Before you go, one last reminder, if you want to be the smartest rugby fan in your group chat, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession. We've got plenty more deep dives coming your way. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.